Have you ever heard of the black cube of Saturn? A mysterious symbol that has appeared in ancient cultures, major religions, and esoteric rituals for thousands of years. It's far more than just a geometric shape. The black cube represents control, limitation, rigid structure, and invisible power, forces that have quietly influenced humanity across generations. From the ancient architecture of the Sumerians to its symbolic presence in Judaism, and even its physical manifestation in Mecca, this enigmatic cube leaves its mark everywhere. And here's the startling part. Whether you're religious or not, spiritual or simply curious, the black cube is still affecting your life today, in ways you may have never realized. In astrology, Saturn is often called the Great Teacher, the planet of time, karma, structure, and discipline. But beneath that stern exterior lies something deeper, a system of control far more complex and subtle than it first appears. And the black cube? It's the gateway to understanding that hidden layer of symbolic meaning. In today's video, we're going to trace the black cube's path through history, symbolism, and energetic influence to uncover why this is something every spiritual seeker needs to understand. The black cube of Saturn, vitality of an ancient symbol. The black cube is a symbol that resonates with an almost primal power, evoking mystery, control, and the boundaries of human existence. Its stark geometric form, a perfect cube, equal on all sides, stands as a testament to order, stability, and structure. Yet when cloaked in the color black, it transforms into something far more enigmatic, representing the unknown, the unconscious, and the hidden forces that shape our lives. The black cube, often associated with the planet Saturn, is not merely a shape. It is a profound metaphor for the material world's limitations and the spiritual journey required to transcend them. Its significance stretches across cultures, religions, and esoteric traditions, each offering a unique lens through which to understand its enduring power. At its core, the black cube symbolizes control and restriction. Its rigid, unyielding form embodies the physical plane, the world of matter, time, and ego. In this sense, it represents the boundaries that define human existence, the laws of physics, the constraints of society, and the internal limitations of our own minds. The cube's equal sides suggest balance and order, but its blackness hints at something deeper, darker, and more complex. Black is the color of the unknown, the void, and the unconscious. It is the shadow that lurks beneath, the surface of our awareness, the unseen forces that influence our thoughts, actions, and destinies. When we speak of the black cube, we are not just describing a geometric object, but invoking a symbol of the forces that both shape and confine us. The historical significance of the black cube stretches back thousands of years, woven into the fabric of ancient civilizations and their mythologies. In ancient Mesopotamia, the cube was closely associated with Saturn, the god of time, structure, and order. Saturn's energy was seen as dual-natured. It provided the stability necessary for civilizations to thrive, yet it also imposed limits that kept humanity tethered to the material world. The black cube, in this context, became a symbol of this duality, a representation of the tension between creation and control, between the nurturing order of society and the restrictive chains of fate. Mesopotamian priests and scholars saw the cube as a manifestation of Saturn's influence, a reminder that time and structure, while essential, could also trap humanity in cycles of materialism and illusion. In ancient Babylon, the black cube took on additional layers of meaning. It was believed to represent the constraints of the material world, a force that both shaped human existence and restricted it. Babylonian mythology often linked the cube to the control of fate and the unknown, further tying it to Saturn's dominion over time and destiny. The cube's stark geometry was seen as a reflection of the ordered universe, but its blackness suggested the mysteries that lay beyond human understanding. For the Babylonians, the black cube was a symbol of the delicate balance between order and chaos, a reminder that even the most structured systems could harbor hidden forces of control. The black cube's presence is perhaps most strikingly evident in the Abrahamic religions, particularly in the form of the Kaaba in Mecca. This massive black stone structure, draped in a dark cloth, is one of the holiest sites in Islam, drawing millions of pilgrims each year for the Hajj. For Muslims, the Kaaba represents the oneness of God and the act of submission to His will. Yet esoterically, many scholars and mystics see the Kaaba as a physical manifestation of the black cube of Saturn. Its cubic form and dark exterior evoke the same themes of restriction and transcendence found in ancient traditions. The Kaaba, in this sense, serves as a paradox. It is a sacred space that unifies believers, yet it also symbolizes the material world's boundaries that must be transcended in the pursuit of spiritual freedom. The ancient Egyptians too recognized the power of the black cube, incorporating its geometric form into their understanding of sacred geometry. For the Egyptians, the cube represented the stability and order of the universe, a foundational, building block of creation. Temples and monuments were often designed with precise geometric proportions, reflecting the belief that the cube's form held divine significance. However, the Egyptians also understood the cube's limitations. It was a symbol of the physical world's constraints, a reminder that true enlightenment required transcending the material plane. The black cube, in Egyptian cosmology, was both a tool of creation and a barrier to spiritual ascension. In esoteric traditions, the black cube is often seen as a metaphor for the ego, the part of the self that clings to materialism, fear, and illusion. It is said to hold power over humanity, trapping us in cycles of desire and limitation. The cube's rigid structure mirrors the rigidity of the ego, which resists change and clings to the familiar. To break free from the black cube's influence, one must confront the unconscious, embrace the unknown, and let go of the need for control. This journey is not easy. It requires courage, introspection, and a willingness to face the shadow within. Yet, it is through this process that we begin to transcend the cube's limitations and move toward higher states of consciousness. The black cube's enduring presence in human culture speaks to its universal resonance. From the ziggurats of Mesopotamia to the Kaaba in Mecca, from the sacred geometry of ancient Egypt to the esoteric teachings of modern mystics, the cube has served as a powerful symbol of the human condition. It reminds us of the structures that give our lives meaning, but also of the boundaries that hold us back. It challenges us to question the forces that shape our reality and to seek liberation from the cycles of materialism and ego. In a world increasingly dominated by materialism and distraction, the black cube of Saturn serves as a stark reminder of the work that lies ahead. To transcend its influence is to embark on a journey of self-discovery, to confront the limitations of the physical world and the ego, and to seek a deeper connection with the divine. The black cube is not just a symbol of control, it is an invitation to break free, to evolve, and to embrace the boundless potential of the human spirit. As we stand before its imposing form, we are called to look within, to question the structures that define our lives, and to take the first steps toward true spiritual freedom. Decoding the symbol, the black cube of Saturn. As we move into the modern world, the black cube's historical significance remains potent. It appears in many forms, including in certain government buildings, corporations, and even in popular culture. Its influence is not limited to the past, but is still active today. In fact, many believe that the black cube represents the hidden forces of control that shape our world. Whether it is in the form of governmental power, corporate control, or the unseen influences of the elite, the black cube serves as a reminder of the material world's restrictions and the power of those who seek to control the collective consciousness. Throughout history, the black cube has been a symbol of both creation and limitation. It has been used to represent the power of Saturn, the taskmaster god of time, but also the force that keeps humanity trapped in the physical world. It's a symbol that reminds us of the need to break free from these restrictions to achieve spiritual liberation. When we dive into the esoteric and occult views of the black cube of Saturn, we uncover layers of meaning that go beyond its historical and physical significance. The black cube is not merely a symbol of restriction and control, it represents the very forces that shape our reality. In many occult traditions, It is seen as a symbol of the material world, a world that keeps us bound to the ego. The black cube is often connected to the concept of the Saturn matrix, an idea that suggests Saturn, through its energy, creates a framework that confines human consciousness, trapping us in a repetitive cycle of limitation, illusion, and egoic identification. Many occultists believe that the black cube serves as a representation of this matrix, a construct we must break free from to achieve spiritual freedom. The Saturnian influence is often associated with time, structure, and the physical realm, but it is also seen as a force that imposes boundaries on our consciousness. The black cube, in this context, symbolizes the physicality of existence and the limitations that come with it, but it also represents the challenge of transcending these boundaries. The occult view is that, to reach higher states of consciousness, we must face and ultimately overcome these limitations. One of the key aspects of the black cube in esoteric traditions is its connection to the concept of materialism. Many occultists argue that the black cube is a symbol of the material world's grip on the human soul. It represents material desires, attachment to the physical realm, and the ego that keeps us focused on external appearances rather than inner growth. In this sense, the black cube is seen as a trap, a prison that prevents us from awakening to our true spiritual nature. Some spiritual teachers even claim that the black cube is a representation of the false self, or the ego, which keeps us locked in a state of ignorance and separation. The only way to transcend this false self, according to occult teachings, is to go within and confront the limitations that Saturn imposes on our consciousness. Another important aspect of the black cube in esoteric teachings is its relationship to the concept of self-mastery. Saturn, as the god of time and discipline, is often seen as a taskmaster, a force that demands structure and order. But in the occult view, it also represents the need for inner discipline and self-control, to master the self, to rise above the ego, and to navigate the challenges of life with wisdom and awareness. Saturn's lessons are seen as harsh but ultimately necessary for spiritual growth. The black cube is thus a symbol of these challenges. It serves as a reminder that growth and awakening require effort, struggle, and discipline, but also a willingness to break free from the illusion of the material world and the control of the ego. In many occult practices, the black cube is seen as a doorway to spiritual transformation, but it is not an easy path. It requires confronting our deepest fears, desires, and attachments. It requires shedding the false self and moving beyond the constraints of the material world to step into a new level of consciousness where we are no longer limited by the illusions of the ego. In esoteric and occult traditions, the black cube is not just a symbol of oppression, but also a tool for transformation. It represents both the prison of the material world and the potential for liberation from it. Those who are willing to face its challenge, to confront the Saturnian forces of limitation, may ultimately break free from the cycle of the material world and ascend to higher states of awareness and being. Saturn plays a significant role in spiritual development. Although it is often seen as a planet of restriction and challenge, Saturn's energy is actually deeply connected to growth, discipline, and maturity. It is the planet that brings structure and order into our lives, which is essential for any kind of true spiritual progress. Without structure, there can be no real growth. And this is why Saturn's influence is so important in the spiritual journey. Saturn and the Black Cube. A journey of spiritual liberation. Saturn, the cosmic taskmaster, looms large in the spiritual and astrological imagination, its influence both daunting and transformative. Often depicted as a stern teacher, Saturn brings us face to face with the raw realities of our existence, our limitations, fears, and the shadows we'd rather ignore. Its energy is unrelenting, demanding discipline, accountability, and perseverance. Yet within this rigorous framework lies the promise of profound spiritual growth. Saturn does not merely challenge us, it sculpts us, carving out the strength and wisdom needed to transcend the material world and awaken to higher states of consciousness. Central to this journey is the enigmatic black cube of Saturn, a symbol of control, restriction, and paradoxically, the key to liberation. In astrology, Saturn is most famously associated with the Saturn return, a pivotal period that occurs approximately every 29.5 years when Saturn completes its orbit and returns to the position it occupied at our birth. For many, this is a time of reckoning, a cosmic audit of our choices, actions, and the paths we've walked. Occurring typically in our late 20s, late 50s, and beyond, the Saturn return forces us to confront the consequences of our past, the realities of aging, and the responsibilities we must shoulder to move forward. It is a crucible of maturity, where we are stripped of illusions and compelled to build stronger, more authentic foundations. This period, though often fraught with challenges, is a cornerstone of spiritual development, teaching us that growth requires effort, reflection, and an unwavering commitment to truth. Beyond the Saturn return, Saturn's influence permeates our lives as a constant guide, urging us to work diligently and overcome obstacles. Known as the planet of karma, Saturn embodies the law of cause and effect, reminding us that every action carries a consequence. This principle is foundational to spiritual progress, as it underscores the importance of intentionality and accountability. Saturn's lessons are not punishments, but opportunities for growth, pushing us to develop the discipline and resilience needed to navigate life's complexities. Without these challenges, we would remain stagnant, tethered to superficial desires and unexamined habits. Saturn, in its wisdom, ensures that we evolve even when the path is steep. The black cube of Saturn, a symbol steeped in ancient and esoteric traditions, encapsulates these themes of limitation and transformation. At its core, the black cube represents the material world's constraints, the physical, emotional, and psychological boundaries that define our existence. Its stark geometric form with equal sides and unyielding structure symbolizes order, stability, and control. Yet its blackness evokes the unknown, the unconscious, and the hidden forces that shape our lives. The cube is a paradox. It is both a prison and a teacher, a symbol of the ego's grip and the potential for liberation. To transcend the black cube is to confront and master the material world, to recognize its illusions, and to move beyond them into higher consciousness. Saturn's role in spiritual development is deeply tied to this process of mastery and transcendence. Many spiritual traditions emphasize that to awaken to our true nature, we must first navigate the challenges of the physical world. Saturn, as the guardian of these lessons, teaches us how to engage with the material plane without becoming ensnared by it. Its energy helps us face the limitations of the body, the ego, and societal structures, fostering the discipline and wisdom needed to rise above them. This is not a call to reject the material world, but to understand it deeply, to see through its illusions, and to use its challenges as stepping stones toward enlightenment. The black cube, in this context, serves as a powerful metaphor for the ego, the false self that clings to materialism, fear, and external validation. It represents the attachments and beliefs that keep us trapped in cycles of suffering and illusion. Saturn's influence compels us to confront these barriers, to examine our fears, and to dismantle the false constructs that bind us. This process is not easy. It requires courage, introspection, and a willingness to face the shadow within. Yet, it is through this confrontation that we begin to transform the black cube from a symbol of confinement into one of liberation. By understanding our limitations, we unlock the potential to transcend them, moving closer to spiritual freedom. In many spiritual practices, Saturn's energy is associated with qualities essential for awakening: wisdom, discipline, and maturity. These traits are not innate. They are forged through the trials Saturn presents. Spiritual progress is a slow, deliberate journey, requiring patience and perseverance. Saturn teaches us that enlightenment is not a sudden epiphany, but a lifelong commitment to growth. Its challenges strengthen our resolve, helping us develop the resilience needed to navigate the deeper layers of the self. Without Saturn's stern guidance, we might succumb to the temptations of instant gratification, missing the profound insights that come from sustained effort. The black cube's presence in modern society is both subtle and pervasive. Its symbolism woven into the structures, systems, and symbols that shape our daily lives. from the rigid hierarchies of institutions to the materialistic pursuits of consumerism. The black cube reflects the forces of control and limitation that dominate our world. Its geometric form appears in architecture, urban planning, and corporate logos, symbolizing stability, authority, and power. These designs, often sleek and imposing, align with Saturn's energy, reinforcing the material world's grip on our collective consciousness. One of the most striking examples of the black cube in contemporary culture is the Kaaba in Mecca, a sacred site for Muslims and a focal point of the Hajj pilgrimage. For believers, the Kaaba represents the oneness of God and submission to His will. Yet from an esoteric perspective, it also embodies the black cube's themes of restriction and transcendence. Its cubic form and dark exterior evoke the material world's constraints, reminding us of the spiritual work required to move beyond them. The Kaaba in this sense is a paradox, a sacred space that unifies, yet also a symbol of the barriers we must overcome in our journey toward enlightenment. In the corporate world, the black cube's influence is equally potent. Many logos and branding strategies incorporate cubic or square shapes, subtly invoking themes of power, control, and stability. These symbols reflect the materialistic forces that govern much of modern life, where profit, success, and status often take precedence over spiritual growth. Consumerism, in particular, perpetuates the black cube's energy, encouraging individuals to accumulate wealth and possessions at the expense of inner fulfillment. This relentless focus on the external keeps us disconnected from our true spiritual nature, trapping us in cycles of desire and dissatisfaction. Popular culture, too, is replete with references to the black cube, from science fiction films to avant-garde art installations. In movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey, the monolith, a rectangular black structure, evokes the cube's themes of mystery and transformation. In art, the cube often appears as a symbol of the human condition, representing both the constraints of existence and the potential for transcendence. These cultural artifacts remind us of the black cube's dual nature. It is both a reflection of our limitations and a call to rise above them. In a world obsessed with control, structure, and materialism, the black cube serves as a stark reminder of the challenges we face. Modern society, with its emphasis on external validation and hierarchical systems, often embodies the cube's restrictive energy. Governments, corporations, and societal norms impose boundaries that limit our freedom, while our own minds, conditioned by fear and ego, reinforce these constraints. The black cube in this context represents the collective forces that seek to keep us tethered to the physical world, distracted from the inner journey of self-realization. Yet, the black cube is not merely a symbol of oppression, it is also a catalyst for awakening. To break free from its grip, we must first recognize the illusions it represents. This requires a deep introspective journey, one that Saturn's energy prepares us for. By confronting our fears, attachments, and false beliefs, we begin to dismantle the cube's hold on our consciousness. This process of liberation is not about escaping the material world, but about transcending it, recognizing that while we live in a physical reality, we are not bound by it. The spiritual significance of the black cube lies in its ability to force us to confront our limitations head-on. In esoteric traditions, the cube is often described as the prison of the soul, a construct that keeps us bound to the ego and the material plane. Yet this prison is not impenetrable. Awareness is the key to freedom, and the moment we recognize the cube's illusions, we take the first step toward liberation. Saturn's lessons guide us through this process, teaching us to discipline our minds, face our shadows, and cultivate the wisdom needed to move beyond the physical world. The journey of spiritual liberation is arduous, requiring us to shed the layers of conditioning that keep us trapped. The black cube, as a symbol, challenges us to break free from the ego's grip, to let go of material desires, and to embrace the unknown. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It demands courage, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to truth. Yet the rewards are profound. By transcending the black cube, we enter a state of higher consciousness, where we are no longer bound by the limitations of the physical realm. This state of awakening, often described as enlightenment, allows us to connect with our true spiritual nature and access the infinite possibilities of the self. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, the lessons of Saturn and the Black Cube remain as relevant as ever. They remind us that true freedom comes not from escaping the material world, but from mastering it. By embracing Saturn's challenges and confronting the cube's restrictions, we unlock the door to our spiritual potential. The Black Cube, in all its manifestations, serves as both a prison and a key, a symbol of the barriers we face and the liberation that awaits. Through this journey, we awaken to the fullness of our being, stepping into a reality where the illusions of the material world no longer hold sway, and the infinite possibilities of the spirit become our truth. In conclusion, the Black Cube of Saturn is much more than just a symbol of restriction and control. It represents the very challenges we face on our spiritual journey. It is the embodiment of the limitations that keep us bound to the physical world and the ego. Yet, within this very symbol lies the potential for profound transformation and liberation. Understanding the Black Cube allows us to recognize the forces that shape our lives, the structures that bind us, and the illusions we must transcend to reach higher states of consciousness. While Saturn's influence may feel heavy and demanding, it is ultimately a force that guides us toward maturity, wisdom, and spiritual growth. By confronting the Black Cube, we face the obstacles in our path and begin the process of inner liberation. The key to spiritual freedom lies not in escaping the material world, but in mastering it and recognizing the illusions that hold us captive. The journey of overcoming the Black Cube is one of self-awareness, discipline, and perseverance. It is about breaking free from the constraints of the ego and stepping into the true essence of who we are. Once we transcend these limitations, we can begin to awaken to a higher level of consciousness and truly experience spiritual freedom. As we move forward, we must remember that the Black Cube is both a challenge and a tool. It is the test that leads us to our liberation, so embrace the lessons it offers, confront the barriers it represents, and take the steps toward awakening to your true spiritual potential. What did you think about today's video? Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If this video opened your mind or helped you see reality in a new light, don't forget to like and subscribe to Top Hidden Knowledge so you never miss our next deep dive into mystery, perception, and the hidden workings of our universe. And if you have time, explore more videos on our channel. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and never stop questioning the world around you.